Joy to the world.
Oh, hi! I'm Jackie Barnbrook, and I play the role of Mrs. Fezziwig in Walt Disney's A Christmas Carol. I also play Fred's sister-in-law, a festive caroler, and a number of other roles, too many to name. In fact, many without names. You're in for a truly special feature as you're about to go behind the scenes, lift up the veil, and peek behind the bed curtains of this amazing holiday movie. So, what do you say we join the ghost of productions past on a whimsical journey through the creative process? Unlike Jacob Marley, it's gonna be off the chain! Because, you know, it's got the chains and...
Mr. Scrooge?
And rolling.
Mark.
Apartheid today. And set. Action!
A Christmas Carol is the greatest time travel story ever written.
3, 2, 1.
When you get the whole thing working together, it's really an amazing thing.
It is an action-packed ride.
Oh, lost.
For over 150 Christmases, Charles Dickens' tale of Ebenezer Scrooge has been as traditional as tinsel and candy canes and that special eggnog your uncle likes to bring over. And the story has been adapted into movies and television shows and really interesting high school plays. But it wasn't until this movie that A Christmas Carol had been brought to life to its full potential. Even Dickens himself wouldn't have believed it. Probably because he didn't know much or anything at all about motion capture.
21 Charlie 1, take 3.
Action!
I decided to make Christmas Carol because, first of all, it's a magnificent novel. And also, it's a story that has never been realized in a movie the way that I think Dickens intended it when he wrote it. With the technology that we have now, I thought, well, maybe we can really finally do the novel justice.
Disney's A Christmas Carol was tremendously faithful to Dickens's novel. It really captured the spirit of what Dickens was trying to do.
Come in and know me better, man.
Dickens wrote this before the invention of cinema. And so he wrote a book that obviously couldn't be translated in the way that his imagination called for.
It was a great challenge, in fact, to try to keep up with the imaginings of Dickens. It's almost like he was the precursor to the screenwriter. It was so readily adaptable to our art form.
There were so many scenes that stayed absolutely true to the book, especially scenes that have to do with the supernatural, the ghosts whisking Scrooge through time and space as Scrooge is being whisked upwards towards the moon, as he's being chased by the coach. The vertiginous perspective in the scene with the ghost of Christmas Present when Scrooge is hanging on to the belt of his robe. All of those things are really an attempt to be quite faithful to the novel and to really bring it visually to life.
We are recreating that thrill and the excitement and the spectacle as originally written by Dickens.
How in the dickens did they pull off this project? Well, the first step is a mocap. Is that the name of my favorite coffee drink? Well, yes, but it's also the computerized process where the cast brought their animated characters to life. As you're about to see, it really suits them.
The foundation for the performance is done by performers on a stage.
It's your Uncle Scrooge! Yes!
The actors wear a sensor. They capture the actor's full range of body movement. The dots are just basically reference markers. When the dots are recorded, we're able to load the performances from the actors into the computer.
You're kind of downloading yourself into the computer.
Mocap is an interesting process, and these artists that are creating the makeup basically make my face drive the makeup.
When the pores and the dots and the creases in the actor's face are recorded, they're then transferred to this very sophisticated virtual puppet, if you will, that moves all of the surface of the skin of the digital actor. On the capture stage, the actors wear a helmet rig that has 4 high-def video cameras that are looking at their face.
Capturing the different sectors, shall I call them?
And then we process that video data the same way we do the body. We identify those tracking points on the face and generate 3D animation from it.
Humbug!
Okay, this technology is amazing. But for us cast members, how do we connect the dots into an effective performance? Well, there are 2 truths about actors. The first is that all we really want to do is direct, or be a rock star in a band, or design our own fashion line. But the second truth is that we have unlimited imaginations. And working in this mocap environment, we get to put that creativity to the test while looking extremely ridiculous.
Mark.
T-pose, please. T-pose.
What's a T-pose?
I don't know. I have no idea. T-pose.
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 I was going to ask you. Well, as best I understand it, and I don't really understand it.
Every time before you do a scene, you've got to do what they call a T-pose. And honestly, I have no idea why they have us do the T-pose. I have no idea.
Why, I don't know. I haven't got the faintest idea.
I think it's to...
When we fire the 3D receptors, or cameras if you will, the computers have to know where to start and where to end. And so all the actors have to start in a passive pose before they start moving.
T-pose, very nice.
It's the best pose to expose all of the tracking points on the actor to all of the cameras. If they don't, their arms could be hiding some of those markers on the body.
And the actors sort of dread it because they're not used to it.
T-pose. You get up and you do the...
I always forget. T-pose, T-pose, oh, yes. Yeah, I always think they're calling a T-break.
T-pose, please. Bob, T-pose, please.
As an actor, before a scene begins, especially if it's a really emotional scene, and you're in it and you're sitting at your desk and you're ready to snap, and they go, T-pose.
T-pose.
I had to be like crying as I'm doing the T-pose. I'm like...
It was hilarious because I'd look over at him. Always. He'd be like T-posing and...
T-pose, everyone. T-pose. Jackie, T-pose.
But it's exciting to be part of new technologies and explore.
T-pose. And cut. Woo.
As usual, we actors did an amazing job channeling our creativity, inspiring the crew, making magic happen on screen.
Jackie, you don't have to do the T-pose here.
Oh.
All that weird stuff just goes into a kind of blur. And so you kind of just, quite easily, I think, once you start doing it, you kind of imagine yourself into it.
What do you call these, Mrs. Gilbert? They say that this is the props, and they give you a piece of net.
It was the best he had.
Which is invisible, you know, yes.
Basically, you're really kind of trying to give the actor something to interact with that's as close to real as it can be, as long as it's completely unreal.
It's a kind of a fun mixture of really intense acting work and pantomime.
I suppose you must have the whole day.
If you want to have glasses on, you could have a wire rim glasses. I can't put them on naturally.
How about if you just pantomime?
But you could also just do this. You could do that, and they could put it in later. I'd say, well, I need something to write with in this scene, and he'd say, no, you don't. That's the beauty of mocap. And stuff like you could just pantomime.
Creating the illusion of performance capture. We don't want them to look like they've been drawn or that make them look like they're cartoony. So what we do is we actually put actors and stuntmen in flying rigs and harnesses, and we fly them around in the set, and we have them flailing their arms and their legs, and we spin them around, we do everything we can, so it looks believable.
Blast off!
He's going to really give us the movement himself. He's going to amplify whatever it is and, you know, create the facial expressions and the body movement that is going to make Scrooge come to life.
We generally had 3 or 4 guys with ropes tied to my ankles and stuff, and they're pulling me in every direction.
And he's also sliding down rooftops, and he's falling off of clotheslines, and he's falling down stairs, and he's doing an awful lot of stunt work without anybody getting hurt.
Well, now it's time to polish that gold into the final cut. So we must come face to face with some of the most frightening and mysterious creatures on Earth. No, not the ghosts. The computer geniuses.
No, get on.
And ultimately, all of the data that they're capturing and acquiring all goes into one room, which we call mission control. These 6 monitors are actually capturing data from over 100 motion capture cameras on the main stage. So there's little white markers, the system's capturing them. We capture what we call a range of motion, and we use this range of motion to build a model, and we use that to help animate the characters during post. We solve a skeleton of the character that the actor is playing to their marker data. You can almost think of it as puppeteering or marionetting the entire character skeleton. So that skeleton then takes on the motion of the actor, and this gives the most natural and accurate looking motion.
And then we load the performances from the actors into the computer, and then my virtual camera creates a shot live and in real time. And action.
My time is nearly gone.
It starts off with a process called DLO, Director's Layout, where it gives Bob the opportunity to explore the environments, explore the performances, and that's what he's able to zero in on and pinpoint exactly what's important in this scene. You know, do you want to tell it in a single wide shot? Do you want to do an elegant camera move that goes 360 degrees around? Is it all in a close-up? He's able to look at this computer monitor and see Jim Carrey and be able to pinpoint the moments of the scene that are important.
And I edit with that. And then once I decide, okay, these are the shots that are working, these are the shots that I want to use, then bring those shots into cleanup.
And we generate 3D animation for final delivery, where the animators tweak the performances that have been captured and then deliver it for film.
If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Uncle!
As a director, what I can do is I'm able to do anything that I want. I can put the camera anywhere I want. I can make the weather anything I want it to be. I can make the lighting anything I want it to be. And at the same time, I've got the magic of human performance that is always fresh.
So the good news is you can do anything. The bad news is you have to do everything.
Humbug.
Now that all the faces are dotted, the motions are captured, and the mission control is accomplished, how do the cast and crew really feel about the finished film? That girl, Jackie Barnbrook, what an actress. She was amazing. I don't think there's enough adjectives in the world, but let me give you a few. Okay. I guess you want to hear what everyone else had to say. Fine.
This new art form gave us an opportunity, in a way, finally, to keep up with the imagination of the greatest storyteller in the English language.
We were able finally to do what Charles Dickens wrote. The spirits, the way they were written, the traveling through space and time and all of these things, we were able to do now with this modern technology.
It's the process that is unique, and it was intriguing, the whole thing. And you see the end result, which is pretty sort of astonishing.
The actual novel itself is a book from the past. Our interpretation of it in the way we present it in this movie version, it's phantasmagorical.
Merry Christmas!
Oh, well, I hope you all enjoyed getting the behind-the-scenes scoop on A Christmas Carol. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go put on my mocap suit. But not for a movie. I'm going to a costume party as a robot with chicken pox. See you later.
T-pose.